Hey everybody, this is Eric Clark's Travel Videos, and I'm in Athens, Greece. And I was talking to a guy, and he said that the way Athens works is, and he was a Greek guy, lived here all his life, and he said the way it works is that if there was something above ground, they would save it. If it was something below ground, like when they uncovered it when they were building a building or a train station or a metro or anything, they would just build on top of it. And so it's pretty evident. And so he gave me a couple of examples, and they're right around the corner. So I thought I'd take you and show you what I'm talking about. So like this is a fairly big street. You just saw the motor scooter go by, and so right out here is a pretty busy street too. But there's things that are like above ground, a pillar or a monument or something, and they don't touch those. They won't. They just kind of build around it, and then leave it as is, and build a little left or a little right. But if they uncover it while they're digging or building a place, they will just pour cement and keep building right on top of it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is it. So it's just a street. It's nothing big. It's just a basic street. and you can see all the businesses and the hotels and the restaurants and the down there's a sparkling Wishes and clothing stores and fast food and shops and everything else. But if they ever came across something, the guy said, that was above ground, they would stop building. So you can see how busy this street is. I mean, it is crazy busy. Hundreds of people walking by. But look here, right here. So they kind of rope off this little area right here, and they don't touch it because there's something above ground. And so this shows you too how much it's silted up over the years. So this is like the normal ground way back when, 2,000 years ago. So maybe 20 feet, 25 feet or whatever. And so they wouldn't touch this. If it was above ground, they didn't do anything. And so you can see the pillars and the columns and the whole 9 yards. So there's obviously a temple of some kind here. And they just kind of fenced it in. And so there used to be pillars here too, but they would stop. They wouldn't touch it if it was above ground, and so which is kind of interesting. And then if you go a little further, and again, these are pretty busy streets, and again, restaurants and shops and stuff and all sorts of things. You know what I mean? Again, they would get to something that was above ground. So here's a monument. I don't want to get hit by a car here, so I'm trying to be cool. All right, guys, get past me. Or don't get past me, and I'll get in front of you. How's that? So there's like a restaurant right here, right? And all these people and these streets. And then they find a monument above ground, and that stops all construction in this section. So you can see the restaurant over there and the people sitting over there and having their dinner, or lunch actually. But there were things above ground, this monument and all that stuff, that didn't get destroyed or didn't get covered up or whatever. And so they would just kind of fence off around it a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little section, knowing that underneath this and underneath over there and underneath over there and underneath over there, there were ruins, but it didn't matter. If it was above ground, they'd fence off the above ground part, and then if it was below ground, they'd build right over the top of it. So it's kind of interesting. So you walk through Athens, and you'll see all these things that are like poking up. And there'll be little fenced off areas, and I think they fenced off this at one point small, and then they fenced it off bigger. But again, there's a restaurant over there and all these restaurants, and so they just kind of surround everything that deals with this monument, and they just kind of leave it as is. They don't touch it. Maybe they figure that if it's lived 2,000 years, it'll probably live another 2,000 years, and so they don't do anything. And so I just find that interesting. And so you'll walk around the whole city, and you'll see excavations where they've dug out underneath the ground, and there's like a bank on top of it, or a high rise on top of it, or a monument, or some kind of thing on top of it. But the underground is all covered. And so I also he also mentioned that that 95% of all of Athens, even the new construction, even the new buildings, the hotels and the banks and the restaurants and all that stuff, they're all sitting on top of ruins, every single one of them. And the whole area was covered in ruins. And so you have to imagine that this is a monument, and you can see all the stones and the extra pillars and everything else. And then there's a crazy busy street right here next to it, which is pretty amazing in my mind. I mean, Rome, at least when it uncovers something, it stops and investigates and looks around and everything else. But Athens did not do that. Athens, if it was above ground, they stopped. If it was below ground, screw it. Let's just build on top of it. Anyway, I just thought I'd share. Bye, everybody.